Hello friends, welcome to the new video of Java online course. Now the core and many more concepts we have seen in the previous videos already. This is video number 20 of this online course, and we'll be learning again an innovative concept and most important concept from the Java object oriented and point of view of the project development. That's what we call as Java database connectivity. Java database connectivity is the mechanism, okay, in short we call it as JDBC. It's a mechanism by which we connect a programming language to a default database of your computer system. Okay, so let's see this. For example, I have a Java application design over here, and I will be using some Java database connectivity drivers. With the help of these drivers, okay, so many drivers are present: Oracle development or DB2, IBM DB2 or PostgreSQL drivers. Okay, so these drivers are used to connect to the respective databases. Now, what's the application of database? Database is systematic approach to store the data in the system, and that systematic approach, if you want to interact with the programming language, we require the database connectivity here. So JDBC facilitates this particular method and mechanism by which we can easily connect any kind of the database to the programming language. Okay, so here we require a network by which you can do it, but in our system we are going to directly use the database. I need to install my database server in my system, and with the help of Java programming language JDBC drivers, I will connect to it and then get the data operations done with this. So these are the Java classes. So we are going to use some Java classes to interact with this. I am showing the MySQL connectivity here by JDBC. It's possible to do almost all 22, 23 databases available in the world to get connected with Java, and out of all I will be showing only a single method, that is MySQL. Operations are common, database drivers may be different, their connectivity mechanism is different, but operation that we universally follow on SQL, that is on structured query language, are almost same. Okay, so we'll be using this particular architecture by which you are going to connect to the database there. Okay, so let's see some common theoretical concepts behind it. This is my book on the Java programming, advanced Java programming. From there I am just showing it the slides. Okay, so in database connectivity we are having these classes: driver manager first, then driver manager is containing a subclass driver. Below that we have connection, and connection is having three subclasses: prepare statement, statement and callable statement. Out of this I am going to show prepare statement and statement here, and everyone is having a result set as the output class over here. So we are going to follow this and this flow to use the classes and get connected your application, Java application, to the database as the backend. So we might be knowing what exactly the backend means. Backend means the way by which you store the data permanently on a system on an SQL database. SQL means structured query language, and RDBMS means we store the data in the form of a relation or a table. That's what we call as relational database management system. So I'll show the database operation first, and then I'll show how to interact a database with Java programming language. Okay, so if you come across any kind of database already, so this operation will be simple for you to interact with the database first, and then we are going to show how it's required to get connected with the Java programming language afterwards. Now let's continue. First of all, you need to install the database in your system. So if you are using Windows, you can download, we will be providing the link from which we download the MySQL server, download it and open its command prompt. When you open the command prompt, then operations are same, because my operating system is Linux. I installed the MySQL server already in my system, and I'll be opening the terminal now. You can also open the terminal once the MySQL is installed on your Windows operating system. So when you install the SQL, I'll open by this command. Okay, I'm having the password here, so I enter the password: MySQL -u root -p. U means user, p means password. Okay, so I'll have a MySQL prompt like this. So on Windows also you'll get such kind of the prompt. Okay, now I'll create a database here. So create database. Database is the collection of tables. So already I'm having this particular database, so I'll go inside this database, use college. So after creation of database, I need to use that, use college semicolon. Now currently I am using this database whose name is college. Inside the college I can create the table. Inside this table information can be saved. So just consider I want to store information about the student, so I'll create a table whose name is student and I'll define the structure of it. So let's create table student, and in this particular table I'll have the structure of it, roll number as integer, then marks as float, and so let's have first as roll number, second as name, that is varchar 20. Varchar means it is the string. Okay, so I'm creating a table which contains roll number, name and marks, 3 columns in it. Roll number is integer, name is varchar, varchar means it is string, and marks is float. Okay, now if it is completed, let's see the structure. Describe the student table here. See, it's containing perfectly 3 fields, roll number, name and marks. Done. Now when the description is completed, I'll now add the data inside it. These are the backend operations which are controlled by the database administrator, and on front end we are going to create a program by which your program can interact with this database. How it interacts, that we are going to see after these operations are over. So let's insert some data into this particular table. So for example, I'm entering some information here, something like this. Okay, so first roll number, name and marks. What's the problem? Insert into, okay, sorry, values is remaining here. I need to use values. Okay, just a minute. Okay, sorry, this is what I require. This should be in quotes. Okay, done. First entry I have added, second entry I will add. Okay, then third entry, okay, fourth, okay. This is inserting the data into the table. Now let's see the content of the table. Select star from student. This is how we can see the content of the table. Star means all the columns. Okay, so roll number, name and marks. This table I have created. Now this table has become permanent. It will be permanently stored into the systems. Now to interact with this particular table, this is what we call as backend. Data is stored in the RDBMS format into the SQL, MySQL database, where the college is the name of the database and student is the name of the table. Okay, so in this way the data is maintained into this particular table. Fine. We know the queries, so insert and select 2 queries I have used. Along with that, you can delete the data from this particular table, as well as you can insert, you can update the information from this table also. So all these operations possible, that we call it as CRUD operations, CRUD, create, read, update and delete. So these operations are possible that we can make use of them. This is backend operation I have done. Now let's control this database with the help of a Java programming language. Okay, so let's go to our PDF. So how to do? Let's see. Let's start with 3 different steps are present, and under that two small steps are available. First of all, you have to load the driver. Initialization, you have to load the driver by using driver manager class. Second, you have to create the connection by using connection class. So driver manager and connection class are used in the first phase. Second phase, we have to process the data. So generate the SQL statement, just like we have seen, insert and select. By using statement object we are going to do. Then process the result data with the help of ResultSet we can do. This is what processing will be done. This processing can be done for n number of times. For every individual row or the table you can do these operations. And then last, termination, terminate the connection and release the data structure that we have acquired by using this particular object of database. Okay, so total 5 steps are actually possible here, 2 here, 2 here, and 1 is directly terminating the connection. Okay, now let's go to the operations, how to use this one. First of all, loading the JDBC driver. Okay, so what I'll do, so description wise shown over here, I'll go to the program and then I'll show you how to do this one. So this is my first program to do the operations on Java database connectivity. The first is to load the driver. Okay, loading of the driver. So here I'm using class is a class actually. It contains a static method called as for name, which is just to load the drivers. Say this one, com.mysql.jdbc.driver. So com is a top level package. Inside that, MySQL is another package, sub package, JDBC package, and driver class is used to load. Now make sure that this particular package or this particular class is not by default available in the core Java, that is JDK. So we need to externally add these drivers from the jar file of MySQL. How to add that? Let's see how to add this one. So we require a MySQL connector jar file. MySQL connector jar file can be downloaded from the net, from different jars repository, but we have facilitated to download this file from our link also. I'll just open my browser. Say this mithu.co.in/jar, from where you can see there is a MySQL connection jar file is present. When I click on that, this file will be available for us to download, and from that link you can download this MySQL connector jar file, save. See, its download option is present here. If you download it, it will ask to download, and then you can save it. See from which account you need to download. So you will just continue this, and after that I'll be using this particular file, or I'll be saving this particular file somewhere in my system. Okay, so save. I'll be saving it in the downloads. Okay, downloads, and let's use libraries. Yes, okay. So save it. Okay, so I've downloaded and saved it. Now to take the classes over here, I need to add this library which I have downloaded from the net. I'll go to libraries here. See, currently only JDK 1.8 library is available here. Along with this library, you need to add one more library here. Just right click on this, add jar or folder. Okay, so go to the libraries folder, wherever you downloaded, just I'll go there, and where is the file present? Yeah, MySQL connector. Okay, so yeah, it's now appearing over here. Inside that, we are having this com.jdbc com.mysql.jdbc.driver present there. Fine. So in this way, you add the library here in your project, and then only it is possible to load the drivers. Fine. So for every database, we require a separate driver file. So this file is dedicated for MySQL operations only. Okay, now first step is over. Second step is to create the connection. So to create the connections, we are having a get connection method for driver manager class. Driver manager class contains a static method called as get connection. With the help of this get connection method, I'll acquire the connection of the database, and it contains a URL. Along with the URL, 4 more important things are mentioned. The URL is this. Okay, it contains 3 parameters. Get connection. First parameter is the URL, JDBC :MySQL localhost 3306. Okay, if you are knowing the MySQL, this is the default port number of the MySQL, which is 3306. After that slash, I am going to have the name of the database. The name of the database is college. So in our terminal, we have seen the name of the database was the college. Okay, when we have started using it, that time use college. Okay, now root is the name of the user of MySQL where you are logged in. Okay, when I started my MySQL, root was the user, and maximum number of time when MySQL is stored or installed, it contains root is the default username, and that time we install the we set our password also. Epsilon, the password is MySQL's password is, which I have given here. So this is what we call as connection URL, which requires the connection URL here, something like this, username and password. Okay, so it will create the connection now, which object is called as con. This is the second step, which is now completed. Create connection. Once the connection is successfully done, con object will be created, and after that we are going to create the statement object. Statement is a special kind of class or object which I require to create the statement for execution of the queries. One more important thing you have to remember, that all of these classes that we are going to see, they are defined into the SQL package here. Import java.sql.star. Okay, so this is what the package I require to install, is required to add, and all this SQL is present inside this MySQL connector also. Okay, so statement is created, statement object is created, and after that we are going to decide operation to execute on it. So operation that I require is this. So statement object, so connection object I am using here to create the statement. Statement object I am going to create here to execute the query. So statement dot execute query select star from student. So this is the query which is used to execute. So basically make sure that execute query will execute the select statement. Select statement is coming under read category, that is it is not manipulating the data. Okay, so its manipulation is not possible by using select, that's why it's executed by execute query. But if you want to execute the updation information, if you want to update the information, that time the method is execute update. Okay, so execute update will update it, execute query will execute a general common query, which is select star from student. Now whatever result is retrieved from this will be stored into one more kind of object called as result set. So result set is a virtual table created. Inside this, the retrieved information can be saved. I'll show you how result set is created here. That's it. Yeah, this is the result set, like this is created, and it contains the columns and rows. The exact replica of the table is created. This is what the table is created. Its replica is created in the Java object like this. Okay, column 1, column 2, column 3 and column 4. Okay, so 4 columns or whatever number of columns you have extracted from there, that particular columns will be created in the form of a virtual table, and it contains one virtual cursor which is positioned at the first row. Okay, at the start, position at the first row, and from that onward we'll going to use next method, just like enumerator or iterator uses next, then next, then next, 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 and when it reaches at the end, the method will return false and operation will be terminated. So this is what the result set created here. So result set is created here, and now once the data is retrieved, I'm going to use the next method to iterate through this data set. Okay, so rs dot next. Okay, and from that I require 3 different values. From first column I require integer, rs dot get int 1, rs dot get string 2. From second column I require string, and from third column I require a float. So in this way I am retrieving the information from the given result set. Okay, get int, get string and get float. Okay, and I am printing them on the screen in just separated by a space over here. Okay, so first, second, third, fourth, when the virtual table is ended, then only this while loop will be terminated. When the while loop is terminated, the operation will be closed, then I am closing the connection afterwards, and then I'm catching it. So here basically this methods returns, or they throws the SQL exception. That's why I've written that in try and catch block over here. Okay, so maybe some connection problems are there, it may throw the exception and terminate the program. So to override the termination of the program, I have given the try and catch blocks over here. Fine, this is how we are closed with the operations. We are completed with the operations of create connection, load drivers, create connections, create statement, execute query, and retrieve the results, and then close the connections. That's it, that's done. When I run this file, check it out. Yeah, I have extracted this information from the table in my Java program. So this is what my table is containing, and it's printed on the screen in sequence by this get method. So get int is to retrieve the integer, get string is to retrieve the string, get float is to retrieve the float value from the respective column number. These are the numbers of the columns. Okay, start from 1 to 3 onwards. That's way of retrieve. So this is the way by which you access, we connect the databases and we extract the information from there by using the select query, and we print that result on the screen by using system.out.print. And as per your mechanism of system.out.print, print ln or printf, you can print this data on the screen. Fine. Okay, this is a common way by which you extract the information from there. Now let's see another method to perform operations with this. Now we have used the operation with statement object. Okay, if you want to execute the statement object, select star from table name that we can use. Now what I require a pre-compiled query. Pre-compiled query means the query will be passed by the values from the user. So I have given their value from the user, but I require something like this. See, so let's go to the terminal. So I'll use select star from student where marks are greater than 60. So I want only information about the student who are having marks greater than 60. So, but above what? This value I want to take from the user. this value I want to take from the user. So here I need to put a question mark into the query in Java programming language, but this operation can be executed only by the prepared statement class, not by the statement class. So how to do this? So what I do, I'll use system.print, enter the marks, and I'm reading the marks from the user where it's entering marks M. So above that I require the marks. So I will loading a driver, I'm creating a connection here. Okay, then yes, this is important. This is what I am creating an object of prepared statement, the second kind of statement object in which is coming under the connection. Now prepared statement means it is used to execute the pre-compiled queries. Pre-compiled queries means query is already compiled just like a function, and after that we are passing some values to it instead of a question mark. See, the query is created. How? Select star from student where marks greater than question mark. So instead of this question mark we can put some values. Okay, we can put some values. How? Created the object and now ps.setInt. So instead of first question mark here you need to put M. So that question mark, whatever it's containing, I'm reading marks from user, and that M I'm putting instead of that. So if I'm entering 50, I'll get above 50. If I'm entering 60, I'll get above 60. Okay, so query will be formed accordingly. So at this question mark, what I want to put, question mark number 1, I want to put this marks entered from the user. It will be put, and now execute the query. So here in this case, statement object contain the parameter, not the execute query method. Execute query is a method of prepared statement class which does not contain any parameter, and execute query of the statement class contains the query as a parameter. Okay, so result set is generated, rs equal to ps.execute query. So this pre-compiled query will be executed and will generate the result where marks are greater than the M. Okay, instead of that, and that I am retrieving and storing it on the screen. Check it, rs.next, and here I am printing it int string get int 1, string 2, and get float. Third parameter is float. Then close the connection and perform it. Let's run this file. Yes, enter the marks above what I require. So M will be 60. See, so I'm retrieving the information about the student whose marks are greater than 60. That's it. Yeah. Now if I change it again, I want above 70 only. So let's go for above 70. Okay, only one is there, which is above 70. So what I want to tell here is this query is formed accordingly. Our values which are put here is set int. So instead of that question mark, what value I require? Set int, set float, set string, set double. So any kind of such parameters can be passed to it by using these set methods. Out of this set method, first parameter is the question mark number, and second parameter is the value that we have to put instead of that question mark. Execute and then perform the operation. This is called as pre-compiled query, and these operations are done with the help of a prepared statement class. Okay, and now let's combine the updation operation and the prepared statement here in the third program. Now here in this third program, what I'm going to do, I'm doing the operation of manipulation of the database. Now see, till this point we have not manipulated the data. So data is exactly saved as it is. Now what I'll do, I'll take the data entry from the user in the program, and that I will add to the particular database. So my database containing currently 4 entry. From Java program I will insert the data into it. Now how to do that? Check. So remember, insert is a update operation. Insert, delete and update. These 3 operations are changing the database. That's why that time we are not going to use execute query method. I'm going to apply execute update method there. So check it out. So first I'm going to create a scanner object, then enter the roll number from user, store it in variable roll, enter the marks from the user, store it in variable name, name from the user and store in name, enter the marks from the user, store it in marks. Okay, so 3 values are entered from the user. Now these 3 values I want to insert inside the table. Now how to do this one? So let's go for create the connection, load the driver, create the connection, then create the prepared statement. So in prepared statement, now I'll be using insert into student values, question mark, question mark, question mark. So roll number, name and marks will be present there. Okay, so this is how insert query I have formed by using prepared statement. Now instead of first question mark, I want to put roll number, set int first question mark as roll number, set string, second question mark as name, second, set float, third question mark as marks here. Okay, so roll number, name and marks are inserted in these three question marks. And finally, if this statement is updation, so execute update, ps.execute update means insert, update and delete. These three different MySQL queries require the execute update method. So when I write ps.execute update, operation will be updated, means update operation will be performed onto the database, and now we are going to close the connections. Yeah, this is how we perform the operation. So after when operation is ended, I'll just type something. Okay, so here I'll print operation completed. Okay, done. Let's run this. Yeah, number 5. Yeah, operation completed. Okay, operation successful. Yeah, so we have entered the data inside this particular table, and let's read it. So here also you can read it. See the last entry which I have entered from the user, and the table is got modified or get added with the respective entry, and that's shown on the screen. And even by using table also, by using previous program also, you can retrieve this. This program is reading this particular information. See this. Yeah, last. Getting this? So this is how we can perform the operation. So we have seen many topics from here, how exactly the operation should be required and should be performed on this table. So we start with the database connectivity, how to do this one, how to load the drivers, how to interact with the database. Then we have seen the statement to execute the query, to print the query's result. Then we have seen prepared statement for pre-compiled queries. You see execute update for data manipulation language queries. So these are the commonly used operation required for the database communication systems. So whenever you have to create a project in Java, we require to have these database operations very regularly. MySQL is very commonly used open source and freeware database required or used by many different kind of users and DB administrators, project administrators also, to store the database. If you want to create a big project and to store data permanently, to use that data somewhere in your applications, so this is one of the best way to do it. You have to design a complete idea of the project, and based on that you are going to perform the operations of it. See, I'll just show you the system which I have created here. In this way, small projects I can create. Here I create a do while loop, and these are the menu based programs I just formed. Store database, display as per marks, add new entry and exit. So this is continuous operations, okay, unless and until you don't choose the exit options from here. Okay, so I'm reading a choice, and if a choice is 1, then I'm displaying it. So creating object of first class here. Okay, actually I have written the main method, that's why first class is not possible here. Then second class, show marks. Then third class, insert the data, and if fourth is there, then exit, and if nothing is present, then wrong choice, like this. Okay, so in this way we are going to perform the operation of databases. This can be added with the graphical user interface also to add some extra operations and perform it. So we need a practice, we need the practice of all the common data structure applications, data operations or expressions or whatever the core concepts of Java program we have seen. We must be having practice of it, so it will be easy for us to write the program which will contain the databases in your project. Okay, so that's from my side. This was the last video of Java online course. So you just can contact our email ID or the contact number if you have any queries related to this particular course or this particular video also. Thanks a lot. See you again.